I get this question a lot. How can you take a record from Ancestry and attach it to the same person on FamilySearch? And so what I thought I would do is explain how to do this the easy way, really the right way, but there's a couple different ways you could do this, right? So if you find a record on Ancestry, you could grab the URL and attach it to that record, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. But the better thing to do is to go find the same record. Here's the same record on FamilySearch, and then attach it to your Ancestor. Okay? How do we do this? Well, let's start with basically how do you find that same record? So here I am on Ancestry, and this is the 1850 census for Randolph County, North Carolina. It is the Southern Division. You need to pay attention to all of that in order to find the other record. And you can tell, Hardy Winsborn. It is not correct. It is actually Winslow. Let's see what yeah, it's been corrected here. But long story short is how do we find that same record? Well, there's a way to do that. Let me show you. So here I am logged in to FamilySearch, and we want to go to search, and we want to go to records. Now this was the 1850 census, so I'm going to jump down here to collection and say 1850 US Census. Doesn't like the period, so let me back that up. U.S. Census. United States Census. We got mortality schedules. We got other things here. This is the one we want right here. Okay, so we click into that, and now it takes us to the 1850 census. So we're going to search for Hardy Winslow and Randolph County, North Carolina. We want to pick that up, and I want to think that the date, his birth date, was estimated to be 1791. So we plug in 1791 and hit search. And the top one here looks promising. Let's go look at that. So I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so one of the things I had paid attention to also was this 159 over here. If we go back over to the Ancestry version of it and we scroll to the top, we have page 159, Southern Division, Randolph County. Let's go back to FamilySearch. Yep, that's the same one. Okay, so now we can scroll down and we can see our family here. There's Hardy Winslow. We'll zoom in so you can actually see that. And Hilkiah. This is the actual guy I was searching for, and so this is the one I want to attach. As you can see, it is already attached to Hardy Winslow on the on the FamilySearch tree. So I want to save this record, attach it to a person in my tree, and we can describe all that information. We can add information if we choose. Hit next. Person ID. I need that ID, would be helpful. All right, so I'm going to jump back over here to Hardy Winslow in the family tree because I know that I can pick up the ID over there. So let's go to family tree, wait for it. Hardy Winslow, here's Hilkiah. There is his ID. All I have to do is click on it and it copies it. I can come back over here and I can paste and hit search. And there he is. It looks like it's already attached because I can't attach it again. Good to know. But that's how you would attach it. All right, let's go the other direction. Okay, so here again, I'm on FamilySearch, and this is the same record we were just looking at for Hardy Winslow. Well, he has a son named Hilkiah. I want to attach this 1850 census to Hilkiah over there on Ancestry. Over here, I had actually removed the 1850 for this demonstration to show you on Ancestry. So the trick is to go search here for the 1850 census and add them. So you can do that by going to, I'm going to do this in a new tab. I'm going to open the catalog in a new tab. I'm going to go to census. I'm going to drill down to 1850. I'm going to pick the United States. Whoops, I went too far. United States. And I'm going to pick North Carolina. Actually, it doesn't matter because it's going to make me pick my state again. So I'm going to hit record count. I'm going to hit 1850 census. And now I can search for and I think it was spelled Hilkiah this way. Winslow. And what year was he supposedly born? He's 18 years old in 1850. Does it give me a cheat, or do I have to do math? I have to do math. So 1850 means he would have been born about 1832. We're going to plug in 1832. I'm going to say North Carolina, and we can go and search for it this way. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but we find the record right away. Okay, so you can see Hilkiah is here. This is the right record. And so I'm going to hit save to a person in my tree. I'm going to say Hilkiah, and it's spelled this way. I was wrong by a year, and we hit save. And we go through this process. I'm sure you've seen this before, but Hardy is actually not in there. So I'm going to go ahead and click him. He did not have the 1850 census on there. I'm going to leave that as is and hit save. And so now we have the 1850 census in here. Now, to me, that's the right way to do it. You've got the direct line in the sources. We could actually use the URL and add it as a web link in either direction. So if we're over here on FamilySearch and we found the record, but we want to add it to Ancestry, I'm going to copy that, Control-C to copy. We come over here to Hilkiah, and then we can hit add a web link. We can hit add that source. We can say 1850 US census and hit add. And then what it's going to do is it's going to populate it way down here at the bottom. That says 1860. I must have typoed. Nope. Here it is, 1850 census. So you can see I've done this with other records that were off the platform, but if it's on the platform, I would suggest you find it first. So I'm going to remove that because I've already got it in there, but let me show you how to do it in the other direction. So now I'm going to show you how to do a web link from Ancestry to FamilySearch. So here I am in FamilySearch in Hilkiah Winslow's profile. Over here is the 1850 census. We want to link that. Now, again, if they're on both platforms, I highly recommend you do it the other way. But if this is say, I don't know, a will that you found at the state archives or something, you would copy the URL and go back over to his profile on FamilySearch, go to the Sources tab, click Add Source, add a new source, give it a URL, and fill out the information and hit save. I'm not going to do this because it's already in here, but that's basically how you do it, is you add a web page and you can give it a source citation and give it a date and all that information. But I'm going to bail on that because it's already in here. But that is, in short, how you can get the same record back and forth from Ancestry to FamilySearch. I hope that was helpful. Please consider subscribing to learn more genealogy tips and tricks. We'll see you in the next episode.